It's Sunday, May 3rd. Planting corn. This is the same field. If you watch the video of Herman getting stuck on the second, right there is where he got stuck the second time. I'm not gonna try to go through that with the planter. We've got no rain in the 10-day forecast, so I'm thinking just let that dry out some more, and probably by the end of the week I can come out here and just patch that spot in. And it's very good soil right here, so I hate to grow some real good crops. I hate to leave it unplanted. Yeah, you can see water standing in the one little spot. Part of the problem is I moldboard plowed that last fall, cleaned out some of the brush, and wanted to turn under all that canary grass that was growing in the low spot. It seemed to work as far as knocking out most of the canary grass, but also softened things up a little more. And it did rain 7/10 just a couple days ago, so I was probably a little optimistic about what Herman was going to be able to do, but it's still fun. Rounds in the planter now, round kernels. Doing a great job of population now. Very consistent. Thought I'd share a little story about this hill. First time I was ever cultivating corn was in this field. We had a white 2105. I was probably 12-ish. I don't remember exactly how old. And Dad got me going and hadn't gotten to this hill yet. But if you're familiar with over and under and 2105s, Olivers, Whites, underdrive can freewheel. You can go fast. It can go faster than the engine. You can't ever go slower unless something's broke. But it will coast, essentially, if you're on a downhill grade or whatever. And so Dad tells me, do not put it in underdrive. And I could have sworn he said, when you're going down that hill, put it in underdrive. So I brake over the top of that hill and I do what Dad tells me and put it in underdrive. And even with that 6-row cultivator behind me, that tractor just got flying down that hill. It's so steep. And I kept it between the rows, but I tell you what, it made me a little spooked. And that was when I really learned what he really meant was do not put it in underdrive. Keep it over or direct. Those will not, the engine will act as a brake on those. Those will not overrun on you. So the dirt was flying. There's usually some rocks on that hill just because it's hill's a road, and so the rocks appear on that a little quicker than in other areas. Today is May the 4th. For those of you Star Wars fans, may the 4th be with you. I'm no-tilling corn into soybean stubble. Let's see, we'll come back up to this hill and do the downhill side. This tractor's a full power shift, so it can engine brake in every gear. So we won't relive the effect that I had back then, all those years ago in the early 80s. It's much more gradual on this side. Another story from well, before my time, before my dad met my mom, and or around that time. But anyways, he had a 65 Chevelle with 327 350 horse engine, and he'd bring people out here and come up the gradual side, get going real fast, and then break over this hill where the bottom drops out. And you might even experience a moment of weightlessness. I think with a little drinking, apparently some of their lunches got some weightlessness as it came up. So that's probably why he knew to tell me not to put it in underdrive, which I did anyways. He probably should have had me repeat it back to him, them important things. Sometimes it's best to have people just repeat that. Okay, now tell me what I told you. Especially when you're talking to a 12-year-old. But I survived. My dad's passenger survived with minus their lunches. Just thought that was a fun little story about that hill there. I've been noticing the occasional kernel popping up on top on row number 4. Trying to figure it out. Finally see the seed tube's gotten banged up on the bottom. Guessing a rock popped up in there or something. Fortunately, I got a brand new one on hand, so ain't too much to swapping this out. Disengage the drive here. Come on. There we go. Disconnect the air tube. Take out the 2 bolts that hold it on the underside. Set that there for easy losing. Of course, there's nothing magnetic to stick it on here. Let's see if I can just balance it. I waited until I was ready to reload. Here's the old one. That way the seed unit was empty and much lighter. So I just gotta get this cotter pin bent. And it just should slide right up like that. Oh, am I going to be able to get it off without having to disconnect the wire? This is the actual sensor right here. It's just held on with zip ties. I left the monitor on so we can get a laboring eye. I can hear it squealing up there. Here's the old one. Oh yeah. A couple of chunks broke off on the end here. Compare. Not a whole lot, but there is a cast iron piece that kind of helps form the groove down there and protect this normally. And it's still down there. I can see it's intact. But some of the seeds are dropping down, and sometimes they're hitting that little cast iron protector, and so then they bounce up and land out of the trench. Whereas this one will make sure they get past it all right without the bounce. Get the dirt out of there. So here is the sensor. I can hear it beeping again. I think they're infrared. I'm not seeing them. I don't see where the camera's seeing them. But we've got LEDs over here and a sensor over here. When a kernel of corn drops through, it blocks some of the light and it picks up that difference and Yep, I can hear the alarm going off in the cab. Beep. But so if enough of them go through, well, it's going to keep beeping because only one row is going. But every time that creates a pulse, the computer is able to count it and then do that with the math against the ground speed and figure out how many seats per acre I'm putting on. Plus warn me if it's either getting low, or the population's getting lower, or the seeds run out, or something else has gone wrong. I had an air tube come disconnected earlier. So that seats into that hole. Oh, I better get down into here. And then that comes around like so. Come on. Okay. The other side needs a getting hole. There we go. Here's my new zip ties. Almost missed the notch there, but I didn't. Tighten that down. Wires protected in there by this side plate. There. Just making sure for wiggle that it's in the hole, and it appears to be. Give her a little. There. Snip off the excess. And poke her down in there. Just gotta make sure that hook shape in the front grabs to keep it solid. It feels like it has. Yep, I can definitely see where that's gonna be better. I gotta straighten this cotter pin just a hair more. That's better. There. And it's good to go. Pop that roll unit back in. fill it up, and get back to planting. Oh yeah, that looks like a fairly fresh break on there. Well, hopefully that takes care of it. Road drive engaged. Air tube in. There, it's ready to refill and go plant some more. Hopefully I don't see any more on top of the ground. Well, I've been watching row number 4 since I replaced that seed tube, and I have not seen a kernel on top. They stick out pretty good with that seed coating, making them a hot pinkish color. So that must take care of it. Amazing what a little piece of missing plastic on the end of the tube so close to the end, you'd think that would just drop on the ground, which most of them were. It wasn't very often I was seeing one on top, but every now and then it just stick right out. Could have been affecting seed placement on the ones that were in the ground as far as not getting them at the right depth too. So it's good now.